Hey guys! So I'm here today to do a book review. I know it's been so long since I've done one of these on my channel. I haven't gotten around to doing them and I feel really bad because I love watching book reviews, and it's kind of also been a while since I've read a book that I've really loved as much as I loved this one, and I'm just excited to share it with you all. And that is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. Sorry with the glare. There's this book just like really reflects light, so that's what it looks like. It's kind of cool. So I believe that there's going to be 3 books in this series. There might be more, but as of now, I believe it's set for a trilogy. This is the first book and the only book out so far. I believe the second one comes out at the end of this year. Don't quote me on that. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure when I saw the date, it was around October, November-ish. I've recently read this and loved it, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, hands down. This is one of my all-time favorite books, and my favorite book so far of the year. It is so good, you guys, I promise. It's got, like, everything in it that you can want. It's got action, suspense, a little bit of romance. Like, who does not love that? And it's funny because the back of this book makes it kind of seem like it's more towards a romance side, but really it's not. I mean, it's there, but it's not the main storyline. Basically, this takes place in America. I guess you could classify this as a dystopian type book, but not like a lot of like other hardcore dystopian, just has a lighter feel for it. It starts off by showing you guys this disease that has been happening that's wiping out all these little kids. Basically around the age of 10, kids are starting to die off from this disease that no one really knows how to cure or what causes it or what's going on. At the same time, there's a small percentage of kids who don't die from this disease and they survive. But they do not basically get out with just a pat on the back and they're on their way. No. Basically, these kids now have a special ability that could be considered a blessing or a curse, depending on how you want to look at it. These kids, like, it's all stuff they could do with their minds, basically, and it's freaking out all the adults across the world, their parents, other adults. They want something to be done about it, so camps were built to take these kids and place them in, and they were told that it was just like a temporary thing, that they would find a cure and help these kids, but really I got the feel that they're just there to waste away their lives. So the storyline follows this girl named Ruby, and she turns 10, and she's kind of really freaked out. Her parents are freaked out that she's going to get this disease and die, but it turns out she's going to be one of those that survive and has a new power. But this new power terrifies her parents, and she is sent away. And this is a typical occurrence with kids and their parents. I know it's really harsh, and I felt so bad for these kids because I couldn't imagine my own parents doing this to me. But there's a huge number of parents that just gave up their kids like it was nothing. There's also some who didn't want their kids to know they gave them up, so they would send them to school on certain days that the government assigned, where they would come pick them up when they were sent on this day. And basically it was just a way for kids not to know that their parents sold them out. So Ruby, like right off the get-go, story takes off and she's arrived at this camp and she goes to be classified into a category. And by category, I mean there's 5 colored categories that these kids can be placed under based on their ability, and they rank from like least dangerous to most dangerous. We start off with the greens. They are the kids who are just really smart and they remember things well in their mind. That's basically all they can do. I think that they personally got really gypped because basically they got punished for being really smart. You have the blues who can move things with their minds. It's really cool to like read about. I think out of all these categories, I'd want to be a blue just because doing things with your mind is really cool. Then there are the yellows. They can do things like with electricity. They can control anything electrical, basically. You also have the reds. They can start fires with their minds. And then lastly, you have the oranges, who are considered to be the most dangerous because they can control your mind. And you get a glimpse of just like what these kids are capable of, like right off the get-go. It is crazy. Like all these kids are like banding together to like take down governments, like get the reds and the oranges and the yellow, like crazy things are happening. And that's why like all the adults are becoming freaked out because the kids are now learning that they can take over and do something. So Ruby is really freaked out and doesn't want to get put into this camp, and she knows that she's an orange. Not a spoiler, I promise you guys, I'm not spoiling this. So when she goes to get sorted, she unintentionally compels the guy to classify her as a green. So she's classified as a green and is sent off to live at this camp. We fast forward 6 years later. This is just like all the background information of what this real story is about, basically. And she is still in this camp. Time had moved on. All the yellows, reds, and oranges were taken away and either killed or just sent to their own camp. No one really knows what happened to them yet. So Ruby is still like under the radar. No one knows she's an orange, and she's just kind of going through the motions. Well, an opportunity comes up, and you learn that there's also a group within the camp that she's in, and they're kind of all spread out, and it's basically a group of people that are trying to like take down these camps and get these children out, but they're not necessarily good people. So that's what's kind of interesting about this book. You don't know who's like team good and who's not, because even though this team sounds like it's a good team to be on, they've got their own issues because they still want these kids for their own benefit, and the kids aren't free by any means. And it comes to the point where this camp has installed new ways to detect oranges, reds, or yellows that are still in the camp, and Ruby is soon to be discovered. So it's kind of like a life or death matter, and she needs to figure out a way to get out of this camp. I think that's all I'm going to really say about it with you guys. The back of the cover, I would really recommend going and reading it because it does say a little bit more, but I don't want to like feel like you guys are thinking I'm spoiling anything for you, because I just know if I was going to say much more, you guys are going to think I'm giving away the whole story. But this is like only like the smallest speck of this thing because it's just so good. You also come across other characters, specifically a group of 3 kids who also want their freedom, and Ruby comes across them, and that's where she meets this boy named Liam, who is probably one of my favorite fictional men right now because he's a Southern gentleman, and who does not love a Southern gentleman? So like I said, this book is so amazing, you guys. Go read this if you have not. Pick it up. I give this a 5 out of 5. It's one of my new favorite books of all time. I promise you guys will not regret this. I've seen so many good reviews. I haven't seen a negative review about it yet. And I know I usually do like a discussion type thing at the end of these videos, but I probably won't do one yet for that because I know where this is such a newer book that not a lot of people have had the opportunity to go read it yet. So maybe in the future I will make another separate video for a discussion type thing where we could discuss what we liked or disliked or what. Let me know if you guys have read it in the comments down below. Let me know what you liked, what you disliked about it, what you thought about that ending, because holy crap. Like this, it took me a legit week to pick up another book after this because my emotions were just all over the place, and it was one of those books where you read such a good book that you don't know how to like move on to another book because your mind's just blown. So that's probably, I could say, what happened in my case. And yeah, so anyway, I'm going to stop talking now because I just keep going on and on and on. So yeah, leave me any comments down below. Let me know if you want to read it. I'm recommending that you should. If you have read it, let me know what you loved about it, what your favorite parts were, and what you are looking forward to in the next book. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!